How to draw a wireframe diagram. That's the focus of this tutorial. We will be using Draw.io to develop our wireframe design skills. If you haven't opened Draw.io, go to your browser, type Draw.io into the address bar, and you should get this application opened up in the window. When your application opens, it possibly could look like this. At the moment we've got a blank canvas, and if you're seeing the grid lines on your canvas, then go over here to your property panel on the right hand side and uncheck grid. If you don't see a property panel over here, on the left hand side you can click into this view and make sure format panel has got a tick at it. If it doesn't, give it a click and it will open. Right, so the purpose, as we said, was to develop skills with wireframe design. So let's start off with the annotation that's used for wireframe design. So the one that could cause you some problems with Draw.io is creating the icon that represents an image. So go into your general toolbox here and drag out, click and drag out and place a square onto your canvas. Click away from it so that it's not highlighted, and then go back to your general toolbox and click and drag out and drop a line. Take one of the blue handles for the line, click and hold as you drag until you hover over one of the corner points, one of the vertices of your square. When you get a green circle, let go. Then go back and drag the second handle for the line. Again, wait until the vertex green circle highlights and then let go. Click away, go back, bring out another line, drag it out, take the blue circle, pop it into the top vertex where the two lines meet and let go, and last and let go. Then click away. Now this is the icon that represents an image. There's two other pieces of information needed about an image. At the very least, this symbol to represent the position of the image within the wireframe, but also the dimensions would be handy. So bring out a text tool and then make it a bit bigger, and then what we'll put in here is the dimensions. Now this picture is a square, so it's 100 by 100 pixels, and then make that small enough that it's going to fit into this shape. Once you're happy with it, drag it into position and let go. Bit difficult to see it there, so I'm just going to highlight the text and then come here and click B for bold. Good, I like that. The other thing that you could put is the file name, so I'm going to drag out another bit of text, make it bigger, double click into it, and this file is called robin.png. Double click it, make it bold, and you could make it a bit bigger if you wanted, that's fine. And then just resize the bounding box until you can see the text and then drag it into position. That's absolutely fine. So that represents an image. Now in Draw.io, to highlight it all, click and drag over it. You can then right click on it and group. Now this is all one shape, which means in theory, if I do that, the whole shape moves about. So that's what you're wanting. You want that. Lovely. And now that we've made one, if we want to duplicate it, all you need to do is hold down Control on your keyboard and drag out a duplicate of it. So we've went to the hard work of making one, and now we can have as many as we want. There we've got two lovely images sitting together, and I'm just going to put a bit of text in here to say what that is. So wireframe symbols, I'll do that. Make that, oh, I liked it there. Just bold it. Get rid of the Helvetica, maybe Comic Sans, up that to make that as big as possible, and make it a nice colour. Let's go for pink, and then I'm going to move that up here. So this is my wireframe symbols, and I'm going to put in a bit of text here just to let you know that that is the image. Again, make that a bit nicer, comic. I know it's arguable whether or not some people think that is, and now I'm going to put that to that side of it and then move this over here. Good. And you'll see your page is just getting bigger. These dotted lines are because we've got page view. If you uncheck page view, that'll disappear. Now we're not being confined to an A4 bit of paper. So wireframe symbols, the first one we've done is image. Let's copy that because it's got the nice formatting. The next one we're going to do is video. Right, so we'll start with a rectangle, bring out a rectangle and make it a bit bigger, about that. So that's the kind of first part of this. We're going to build it up in layers. Now we want the lines through it, so we'll go and get a line and click and drag until you get that green circle at the vertices of the top right hand corner and let go. Click away, go and get another line. That's not appeared in the right place, so we will move it to there. And then click the blue circle and drag it. Don't let go until you hover over the bottom right hand vertex and you'll get your X shape. Perfect. There's usually a circle with a triangle. So we've got circles over here. Just bring out a circle. Don't put it inside there just yet because we want to do something to it first. I want to, while it's highlighted over here, increase the line thickness and leave it at black, that's fine, but just increase the thickness to 2 pixels. Then click away from it, go and get a triangle, bring it out, sit it beside it. It should have the 2 pixels because it's remembered. Now make this a wee bit smaller and then get your 4 anchors for move and drag it into the middle. As you do this, you'll see how I've got my crosshairs now in the centre. There you go. Perfect. Let go when you see that and click away. Lovely. Now we want to group this. Click and drag across, then right click and group. Now we can move this into position. Click away, click and drag over to highlight the rectangle, the circle and the triangle, and right click and group. Now we've got one symbol, and same as before, hold down Control and drag and you can make or drag out as many of these as you want. Right, next one we want to talk about is a sound file. So in fact we'll call it an audio file, so audio. So you want a symbol to represent the widget that the user can click to play the sound file. So we take a rectangle for this and make it a long, but something like that to represent a button shape really. And what's different about it is we're going to put this play symbol in it. Click away from it, then go and get a triangle. Now we'll put it down here just now, and then we'll double click inside it, and in capital letters we will type play. Now you see how it's too close to the pointy edge? That's because here it's centre aligned. You want to left align it, and then we want to make this a wee bit smaller so that it fits into that shape. And then once you're happy, just drag it into, see it's still a wee bit big. So I am going to push up and in a bit. No, I don't want to get rid of that Y. And there you go. Now if it's like slightly off, you can nudge it up by clicking your up arrow and it will just move it up. And if you want it to go left a bit, just use the arrow keys on your keyboard and that will give you closer control. Then click away when you're happy. I'm happy with that. And what to do now is highlight and you've got it, group. Now you can hold down Control and drag out a copy of it. So you make it once and then you can reuse them again and again. If you knew the name of the sound file, you would put that in here, just as if you know the name of the video file and the size of the video that you want to play, you would put it into the video. Right, next one we want is text. So how do we represent text in a wireframe design? Well, we do it with a squiggly line, and what's kind of normal is you'll get like a bounding box. So we're not going to go for square, we'll go for rectangle, and I'm going to go down a wee bit. You can make it any shape you want, but you would put at the area, like the paragraph area where you're going to have this text, and then what you would do is you would put a couple of squiggly lines inside it to represent lines of text. Now the best way to do this, instead of messing about with a curved line here, is if you come up here to the insertion options, you can click the freehand and then click start drawing. And what you want to do now is just draw a wee squiggly line and then stop drawing. You've got your squiggly line, and now hold down Control and drag out a copy of it. Hold down Control, drag out another copy. Hold down Control, drag out another copy, and that's you created your text. This doesn't represent necessarily 4 lines of text, it's just an area with text in it. If you only had 1 line of text, if it was the heading at the top of the page, you would just put 1 wee line in. Okay, so we've got image, video, audio, text. That's it really, the special symbols. So now that we know this, we can move on to the next stage, which is to actually design a wireframe of a user interface for a web page. So we'll do that now. Now that we have our basic symbols created, we'll actually use these in our design. So I'm going to scroll over to give myself some room. And the web page will be 800 pixels wide and 900 pixels high. So I'm going to go for a rectangle and I'm going to draw half of that. Now that's not what I want it to look like. So I'm going to change the style of this rectangle. I don't want a fill, so I'll just go for white. And I don't want the line to be 8 pixels, so I'll change that down to 2. And that's fine. So I'm going to move that to the corner here, and then see when I start dragging out, you can see that the coordinates of the shape are being created. So I want it, I'm going to do it half sized, so it will be to scale. So it will be 400 by 450. So try and get your 400 wide and 450 high. Now it might not look like that because I'm zoomed in a wee bit. I'll zoom out in a minute. So 400 by 450. Wow, I can't believe I got that. And I will make this 100% now to make it a bit bigger and then move over. So this is half the scale, but that's okay. So what we want to do at the top here is we want to put in the kind of browser buttons just to orientate the person who's going to be reading this design. So we'll get another rectangle, move it up into position. And it's going to be quite small in relation to the size of the actual page, even smaller than that probably. But we'll leave, what we can do is reduce the thickness of the line. And the whole purpose of this is because, as you know, on a web page, this is where you will see the title of the web page displayed. So when you're designing it, you probably have to design the title area as well. Now in the title area of the browser, you've got your 3 buttons. So I'm going to zoom into this area and then draw the 3 buttons. A couple of ways you can do it, but I'm just going to do it up here and maybe go into about 300% and then use the scroll bar to bring me to this area. Just get a wee square. Pop it up here to get it to be the right size. Smaller, change it to, that is 1 pixel, a wee bit smaller than that actually, I think. Does that fit? Yep, that fits. So once you get one of them, just hold down Control, drag out the next one, and then hold down Control and drag out the next one. Right, in this first one we're going to need a line, so go and get the line, click it into the vertices of the square as normal, and then go and get the other one and put it to the top left and bottom right. Right, that's that one done. We actually need a wee tiny square for here, so I'm just going to hold down Control and drag out another one. Oops, hold down Control, drag out, make it smaller, and then drag it in here. And the last one is just a line. Bring out a line, drag it into roughly the position, take that. Now, you don't want it to click onto anything, so hold down Control Shift, and it should just go in the middle there. Then take the top one, the blue line, bring it back. Again, hold down Control Shift so that it doesn't try and snap on anywhere. Click away from it. That's going to do me just now. Now I'm going to click and highlight those and group them. Right click, group, and then I'm going to bring them down into position. And I might actually group that along with this. So hold down Control, click that as well. The title rectangle and group that so that that's now one thing. Perfect. And I'm going to zoom out so that I can see what I'm actually doing here. So good, I'm happy with that. Gives it a bit of context now, doesn't it? You can definitely see, alright, this is a window of an application at the moment because it's got the minimize, maximize and close buttons, and it's a browser window. Right, now on our page, apart from the title, which will appear in the browser window, we're going to have a heading, our main heading, which could be a banner with a logo. Then we're going to have some horizontal navigation. Then we're going to have a main text area. Then underneath that we'll have 3 images. Great, let's do that then. First thing we want to do is we'll put in the title. So we'll bring out some text, make it a bit bigger, and then we'll type in here native birds native Scottish birds, and then we'll drag that into the title area of our page. We'll leave that. Next we'll get our heading area. It's going to be a rectangle, so bring out a rectangle, pop it in to position, and we will leave that like that. Next we're going to have a horizontal navigation area, so I'm going to go and get a line and bring it in, and then hold down Control Shift so that it doesn't try to connect to anything. And then once you've got one horizontal, click and drag your next one, and then click and drag your next one. Great, so that's going to represent the 3 hyperlinks. Now I'm going to highlight these, I think, by holding down Control and clicking on them. I'm going to go and see if I can up the thickness of that line, and I'm going to nudge them upwards and to the right a wee bit with the arrow keys on my keyboard, just so that they look a wee bit better. Right, happy with that. Next is the rectangle area that will represent the text, the kind of welcome area. Now we're going to put some, remember when we were putting text in, that it has to look like this. In fact, that looks perfect, doesn't it? But we'll have another practice at this. So we want the freehand tool for this one. So we'll go freehand, start drawing, and then inside here we'll put in a line, then stop drawing, and we can hold down Control and drag it down. Whoops. And all we're doing here is representing that this is a paragraph area that text will be in. And then underneath here, so we're finished with that, underneath here we're going to have the area for our images, and we're going to have 3 images. Now we know that this is 800, so if we make them 200 by 200 squares, then we should be able to have a wee space at each side and in between them. So we can take a square for this and bring it out. Now remember, it's half size, so when we're sizing it, it will be 100 by 100, if I can get it to do it. 100 by 100, and then move it over slightly and bring out, hold down Control, bring out the next one, hold down Control, bring out the next one. So I want that one there, and then you can centre that one between. That's what I want it to look like. All we need to do is put the lines in now. So if we get a line, get the blue, hover over until the vertex goes green, and do the same for here. Now obviously, that's right there. We don't want it to be 5, this line thickness to be 5, so go back to your properties up here, change it back to 1, click away, get another line, take the handle, hover over until the vertex goes green, do the same here and let go. Right, so I'm going to delete these now and copy in this one. Let's try and group these. So click that. I need to send this to the back, arrange to back so that I can get a hold of this. And hold down Control, get your line, hold down Control, get your other line, right click and group. Now when you click and drag, you should take everything with you. Put one over there at the side, then bring this one into the middle, and I think that's okay. They're a wee bit off. Let me just nudge that one up a bit. I think that's a bit better. Nudge this one down a bit. Right, that'll do it. Okay, so now we've got our basic layout of the page, and what we need to do now is put some annotation in to give a bit more detail, for instance, the font, the colour and the text size. Right, so we'll get an arrow. In fact, let's start with a text box. Oops, don't know where that went, but we'll put it here, make that a bit bigger, and our heading will be Scottish birds. Right, and we can pop that in there as the heading and centre it. That will do us. Now we want a text box that will give us some information on this. So we'll be font family, and we're going to make it the font family Comic Sans. And we're going to make the colour will be purple. And the size will be let's make it an 8, let's make it 30 pixels. I've spelt colour wrong there. Okay, now we've got that. Now we need to point at the thing that we actually want it to, the style that we want it to be applied to. So we'll go and get this arrow and bring it out and take the blue, hold down Control Shift so that it doesn't want to connect to one of the connectors, and still holding Control Shift and then let go so that that appears there. And then you can take this side and again hold down Control Shift. Perfect, that's what you want for that. Okay, so we want one up here that says title, and we'll just say title area, and then get an arrow for this one. Let the arrow go, hold down Control Shift and then move the blue anchor. Still keep Control Shift and then click and let go of everything, so that you're not being controlled by those anchors. Right, now we'll do the hyperlinks, and these are internal hyperlinks to the different pages. So we need a text to describe that. So it's an internal hyperlink. To the Robin page. And then we'll go and get, in fact, you know what we'll do? Sometimes you see this, because it's applying to all of them, we'll just say internal hyperlinks, and we'll go and get an arrow and hold down Control Shift and move that into position. And then we'll hold down Control, drag out another one, and hold down Control Shift so that we can move the head of it to there, and Control Shift to join up that one, and then let go of everything but keep that highlighted. Control Shift again to bring down another one. Yeah, I think I might have to zoom in on this for a wee second because that's annoying me. Right, that one, if we hold down Control Shift to just move that down so that I can access this one, Control Shift and pop that up a wee bit, and then back to this one, Control Shift, whoops, make sure it's that you're holding. That looks okay, but this one's a bit wonky. Bring that back down there. Right, what's happened? I've got an extra one, so just delete that. Don't know why that happened. Hold down Control Shift to move that into position. There, it's easier to see the three of them now. Right, zoom back out. So we've got our internal hyperlinks, our title area, our heading area with the font family, colour and size. We want to put in some styling for the background colour of the actual page. So we'll put another text over this side this time, and we'll say background colour of page, and we will make it light green. Right, let's move that up a wee bit. Click away from it, go and get an arrow. Bring this, hold down Control Shift again, and then drag that back. Lovely. Right, that's a lot of information going on there. Now, we want to give some information about the styling of the text in this main area. So we need another text box, and we'll pop it here, and let's make it bigger. So we'll say, make it left aligned to make it easier for ourselves. So we will say font family will be Arial. The colour will be, what will we say for the colour? We've got purple for the heading colour, we'll say blue. And the text size will be 16 pixels. In fact, let's make it 18 pixels. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That's quite a wee bit going on there. Let's go and get an arrow. Hold down Control Shift and point it and let go. Hold down Control Shift so you can get that back towards the text there. Good. Right, so that's us giving some information. We could also have said that we wanted to centre this, but I think it's quite clear, isn't it, that this is centred because there's an equal amount of space on each side. So that's visually, you can pick that up. Now we're down here at these bottom images, and we want the name of the image and the size of it if possible. So we know that the size of these is 200 by 200. So we'll go and get some text that says 200 by 200. But what we don't know is the name of the pictures because everyone is putting in their own pictures. So I'm going to copy this 3 times by holding down Control and dragging, and then I'm going to move them. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm happy with that. Everything that I need is on there. So I know the background colour of this web page is going to be light green. I know the title is going to be Native Scottish Birds. I know the heading is Scottish Birds. I can see that it's centre aligned here, and I know the size of it. I know that there's 3 horizontal internal hyperlinks. I know that there's going to be a big paragraph underneath here with the welcome text inside it. And then underneath that we've got 3 pictures which are the same dimension and they're sitting horizontally equally spaced. Good. Let's go and make this now.